Yerp, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to Two Husbands, Two Wives. Yeah, I'm gonna do that every time. Okay. All right, so welcome back to another episode. This is episode 9. All right, we just got one more go to 10. All right, like if you like to do things consecutively. My name is Sam.
My name is Erica.
Hey, it's your girl Kai.
And it's your boy Steph. What's up?
So we thank y'all so much for rocking with us for the past 9 episodes. Well, 8 other episodes. This is episode 9. And the topic for today is kind of a part 2 to our previous conversation about seeing eye to eye. Erica, can you just go ahead and pose the question for us today?
Sure. Well, because the guys wanted to put us on the spot for part 1 about cleaning, the question is basically just what are some other things that we don't see eye to eye on? And what do conversations look like? What does compromise look like in those moments when you're having trouble seeing eye to eye? So I don't know who wants to start.
Since Steph and I, no, I don't. Since Steph and I started last time, I think it's only fair to allow our beautiful wives to start first.
All right.
There you go.
I'll jump right in. This is actually nothing like super serious, but I feel like when it comes to just like hobbies, spending our free time, a lot of times Sam and I have a different idea of what that looks like. So for me, and wives, girlfriends, you could let me know if you agree, but I feel like if I want to watch something with you, that like a normal nice response would be like, yeah, let me join you.
A nice response. That's a response you prefer.
Normal, nice response.
A normal, thank you. A normal.
The expectation is that your husband. The expectation is that your husband. Okay, you guys can let me know if I'm like, but in my mind, it's like, it would make sense that if your person wants to do something with you, that you would join them in whatever it is that they want to do. So a lot of times, Sam and I, it's not even really arguments. It's more just like hey, can we watch this? No. Well, why not? Because I don't feel like it. What do you mean you don't feel like it? Like, but I want you to. Like, it's 30 minutes an hour. So it's small, but in times when I actually do want to watch something with Sam, the answer of like, because I just don't feel like it just really bothers me.
Wait, but do y'all have like y'all shows that are designated that y'all watch together?
Yeah, see, Kai, you don't want to get into this conversation.
I just want to ask.
You don't want to do that.
I mean, there are things that without like saying it that we're both into, so we'll both get into it. And then there are certain things that like I'm just not going to watch. And I guess that's the thing too. Like he knows that there are things that I'm not going to watch, so he doesn't bother asking me. I'm not watching Naruto. I tried it, not for me. I'm not watching, what's the thing with the large beast? Attack on Titan.
Large beast. I apologize to all my anime watchers. Clearly, she is not one of us.
And I'm also not a Marvel fan, so I'm not watching those things. But if he were to ask me to join him, I would do it. I don't understand why when I ask him to join me in watching, let's say, Married at First Sight, it's like
so good, by the way, so good.
Okay, so let's slide the mic over here to my direction, right? So the thing is that I'm not going to ask my wife and Steph, let me know if you feel the same way. I'm not going to ask you to watch something with me if I know you don't enjoy it. You feel what I'm saying? That's one. 2, if I already know based off of like who you are, the culture of who you are, the conversations that we have, that you're not going to enjoy something, I'm not going to ask you to sit there with me and put you through that torture.
Right.
So in that same way, I would just hope, the expectation is that you would apply that same concept to me and not making me have to sit through something that I don't really care about. Like, I don't care for the romance, the deep, passionate looks, the heavy kissing. No, like, I want to see some explosion, some fighting, some shooting, some suspense, some thrill. You feel me? Some sci-fi. That's not too much to ask for. So it's like, you do you and I'll do me, but we still here together doing us.
Right.
Yeah, I will say though that, not to like cut it short, but once I expressed to Sam that him watching things with me is like, for me, that's quality time, I feel like he kind of like loosened up a little bit and wasn't so quick to be like, no, I don't want to watch it. Because for me, I don't just want you to watch it just to like just to put you through something. For me, it's like, that's me spending time with you. I want to have quality time doing something that I enjoy.
Right.
So when I expressed that to him one time, he was like, all right, I'll watch whatever movie it was. And that kind of helped. I can't say that about recent events, but on to you guys.
That's so funny though, because Stefan is actually if you all never took the 5 love languages test, you should take it. And Stefan's number 1 is quality time. I think that is number 1, right? Mm-hmm. So Stefan is like Erica in this regard, where it's not even so much TV with Stefan. It doesn't matter what he could be editing a video and he'll be like, I just want you to sit here and watch me. And I'm like, don't nobody want to sit here and watch you. Yes, you do, Stefan. He'd be like, you could be on your phone. He'd be like, you could be on your phone, but I just want you like in the room. I'm like,
that's cute.
How boring is that? You just want me to sit here while you...
I'm glad you asked that. How boring is that? It's as boring... It's as boring as watching all of these love romantic shows that we have to watch on TV, because I don't get to watch anything on TV.
No, I don't actually.
Okay, so this is why, and ladies and gentlemen, all of you guys that are tuning in right now, this is the reason why I made the comment, rewind back, and I made the comment of she doesn't want to get into this conversation, because we literally do not watch anything on TV that I want to watch.
That's a lie. It's a sin to lie.
Everybody write in the comments the question, when's the last time we watched a basketball game on TV? Okay. No, I want Kai to answer in real time to y'all comment.
Okay, I'm not even gonna go into that part because we have 3 TVs in our home.
Now we got 3 TVs.
We got 3 TVs. You got everybody listening. We have 3 TVs in our home. If Stefan really wanted to watch a basketball game, he could go to any one of those TVs.
I want to watch a basketball game with you.
You can watch it by yourself though. So no, I didn't. No, listen to me.
You see? Okay.
Listen to me. Stefan won't watch it at all.
That's not true.
That is true.
No, it's not.
Once in a hot blue moon, you'll go into your studio.
No. See, that's the thing. I don't watch basketball at home. I don't watch basketball at home.
Where else do you watch it, Stefan?
When I go out, or when I watch the rerun of the game.
Yeah, why don't you watch it at home?
Because it's nobody to watch it with. So if I'm gonna watch it, I'm gonna watch it with somebody or watch it by myself while I'm doing stuff or things like that.
But the difference is I'm gonna watch my dating shows regardless of who's watching it with me. So, but something that I did learn is that because Stefan's number 1 love language is quality time, there will be times where I try to, and I'm also, because Stefan now he comes in the house, literally as soon as he gets back from the gym, he'll be like, I don't want to watch this. It'll be a dating show. I'm in my zone. And I'm like, all right, Stefan, what do you want to watch? Because I know he don't want to watch what I be watching. So I'll change the channel for him. So I feel like I'm getting better with that. You don't think I'm getting better with that? When you come in demanding, like, I don't want to watch this. Did we change the channel? Anywho, I'm going to bring up.
I'm not going to say that. I'm just not going to say that.
I'm going to bring up something that me and Stefan have kind of been coming to odds on. And I actually realized, like, sitting here thinking about it, it's kind of like contradictory, if that is even the correct word, how we feel about it. So when it comes to like arguments, when you and your partner get into a disagreement, make it a little heated, like your feelings are really invested into the conversation, me and Stefan have been discussing if it's okay for that person to take a breather outside of the home.
Leaving the house.
Yeah,
right.
Leaving the house. So like going to take a walk, like going to sit in the car, whatever leaving the house is. I'm not talking about leaving and going to stay the night somewhere else. I'm talking about literally just leaving for a little bit of time to get your mind right. I believe that if someone needs to take a breather to get their mind correct, again, I'm not talking about leaving.
You're talking about leaving the house.
Yes,
right.
Leaving the house to go take a walk or to cool down.
I'm only doing that because is when you say taking a breather, some people might think that just means you could be in the house. And my issue is the fact that you're leaving the house.
Right.
That's
so Stefan
issue.
feels like in the midst of that, you shouldn't leave the house. You should, if you feel like you need to cool down, just go to a different room in the house. And then we'll figure it out. But I am in the opinion of, if you need to go get some fresh air, because sometimes that help, or you need to get out of the vicinity of where you guys are having the argument, I don't think there's a problem with that, especially if you're coming right back. It will be a different story if you're leaving for hours and not coming back and staying the night somewhere else. That's when it gets a little crazy for me. But if I just need to take a 10-minute walk to cool down, I just don't personally feel like it's that big of a deal. But Stefan feels like it's a big deal. But then let me tell y'all the flip, because this is another disagreement me and Stefan have, and I think this is a men thing, no shade, Sam. And we talked about this as a group. But
and I was gonna say, what's the difference between that and what they do?
Because when me and Stefan get into a disagreement, like sometimes if he's upset about something, he will drag it out for like an entire week and just be upset. And for me, it's like, can we get over this? Like, can we move past this? And Stefan's like, I just need a moment. Like, and he'll be in that space for like a week, giving me an attitude, not really saying too much until he decides for himself. And when I brought it up to him, he said, I just need like a moment to calm down. Like, I want to make sure I'm saying the right things and stuff.
So you're saying, hold on. So you're saying that when you come back in the house after you take your breather, you're perfectly fine. That's what you're saying. No, you don't give me attitude for a week after you come in the house.
I don't give you attitude for a week.
Okay,
no.
okay.
Absolutely
I just wanted to be clear.
Not for a week.
Okay, got you.
So that is a current disagreement we are having, and I want to hear Erica and Sam.
Oh no, we're not hearing Erica and Sam. You're not about to go back to that side after you say all that. We're gonna address some of these.
Okay, just to recap, bro. She said, leaving the house while upset.
Okay.
In addition to, I'm putting quotation marks around having an attitude after a disagreement or something bothers you because you're probably hurt on some emotional level.
Thank you, Mr. Bob.
You had to add that part.
So the first thing I wanted to address is the idea of leaving the house, right? So one of the things that I think that Kai said was, it's not like you're leaving for hours, and then you're coming back or you're spending a night somewhere or things of that nature. The way that I look at that situation, if you're leaving the house, all of those things are possibilities. Everything that you said literally is a possibility. And you can make that decision with having nothing to do with me. I have an issue with that, especially if we're not in a good place, because I feel like that's not something that you should just be able to just decide freely while you're not in the right state of mind with me. I don't feel like that's wait.
No, I had a question.
Okay.
Question.
Go ahead.
So do you feel like, because I've been trying to understand why this bothers you so much, and is it like part of you, when I do want to leave the house to take a walk or a breather, in your mind, do you feel like I'm not coming back?
So if I'm being completely honest, it's not that I don't feel like you're not coming back. It's like what I said. It's a possibility. And that's very possible because it happens all the time. People leave the house and then they don't come back.
What has that ever happened with me, though?
You don't leave.
So when
you see the difference?
I want to.
Yeah, but you do understand like that small difference, right? You don't leave the house.
Okay.
So that's a very small difference that as it gradually manifests itself, it becomes a big difference. Because if you're not leaving the house, I would never know if you would be able to leave. That's not something that I would be able to know because that doesn't happen.
So what I hear you saying is that it was scary the other day when we got into an argument because I said I wanted to go take a walk because it's something that I've never done before, and it made you in your mind think that there was a possibility that I wouldn't come back?
No, it wasn't the first time that you ever did that. You actually did leave when we got into argument before.
Oh, but that's what I just asked you. You said you didn't.
No, that's not what you just asked me. You asked me something different. I'm just clarifying what you asked me. Okay. So what I'm saying is that the reasoning as to why you leave, right? Those situations and those things that are going through your mind are not things that can be dealt with in real time. I have to at some point in time, I have to come to well, not me. You have to come to a place where you're comfortable enough to talk to me about the situation at hand. And then when you're ready to talk to me about it, then we could be on good terms. That is not, I don't feel like that's a fair situation. I feel like that's not fair. And then on top, I think the other thing that I wanted to address was the attitude thing. I feel like when you leave situations, right? Or not just you, but just a person in general, right? Just a person in general. When a person leaves a situation, it's not like after you take your little breather, you're perfectly fine. Like you're rejuvenated, and now, you know what I'm saying? Like you come back and you still have some of that on you. So it's not like. So I feel like the comparison that you made to what it is that me and Sam do, where we're basically figuring out our emotions in real time with you
for a long period of time.
Yeah, but we're doing it in real time. Like you're there, even if we don't answer, or we may not give you the answer that you may like. You have the opportunity to ask us, and that may not always be the case. Like it may be a case where we might eventually break down. Like, well, okay, I was upset about this X, Y, Z, and it may not reach the quote unquote week that you guys say that it takes us.
I also think that like what it boils down to as well is like the comfortability of having like that security to know that like the person that you're with is present with you regardless of the situation, regardless of the argument. And I think that like Stefan said, like the possibility, right? Because in the realm of possibility, if you're comfortable with leaving, like taking a walk for this argument, which is obviously something that's serious. Now, I'm not sure what it was y'all were arguing about, and I'm minimizing it, but if you're willing to walk out now, then what's going to happen down the line if we have even more serious discussion? What's going to stop you from like sleeping somewhere else? What's going to stop you from like out of you feeling like your home or this space with me is no longer a comfortable space for you to be to the point where you need to leave? If we're entertaining that idea, then that means that like in the realm of possibility, I have to entertain the extreme as well of you like just dipping out on me in the midst of a heated discussion, us never resolving what's really happening, but us now discussing as to why it is that you felt that the right course of action was for you to just like leave. I'm not saying that like a break sometimes isn't needed. Sometimes you need to press pause. There are plenty of conversations that we have, Erica, where we press pause. But like to leave, I'm kind of the same mind with Steph, where it's like, yeah, nah. I remember one time, Erica and I got into an argument, and I slept on the couch. Erica didn't put me on the couch. She didn't put me on no couch. I chose to sleep on the couch, right? And Erica, it was actually like mad scary. It was dark in the apartment, and all I saw was someone standing, a figure in the distance. And I was like, what's that? And Erica was like, you are not serious right now. I was like, what happened? She was like, are you serious? Are you really sleeping on the couch? She was like, that is not what we do. You're coming back to bed. I said, yes, ma'am. And I went to bed.
You ain't saying yes, ma'am. You argued with me.
I sure did.
I sure did.
I mean, I wasn't going to tell her that. Yes, but like with it, like Erica dead told me, she was like, no, like we're not going to do that. She was like, in all my years being alive, I've never seen my dad sleep on no couch. She was like, if there's a problem, we're going to talk it out, and we're still going to sleep in the same bed together. You feel what I'm saying? So it's like, because for Erica, it was like, if you're willing to sleep on the couch, then that means that in your mind, you thought that being separated from me in that way was an adequate reaction. She also takes it as like a punishment. So it's like a lot of different emotions.
No, because I feel like it really is. Like, I feel like when it comes down to it, and this is obviously, I feel like, this is probably the last thing that we should say on this topic, but I feel like when it comes down to it, it can be perceived as a punishment because it essentially can make the other person feel like, oh, I'm not worthy enough to be around you right now. That's what you feel. You feel like I'm not worthy enough to be around you because you're that upset with me.
But I feel like So, like what Sam you brought up, yeah. So me and Stefan will get into arguments sometimes, and we'll know like when to press pause, and we'll say like, we're not getting anywhere. Let's just come back to this. But seldomly, like once a year, we'll have like a big argument where neither one of us are pressing pause. Like we're like, all right, we probably shouldn't continue, but we're still going. Now we're getting angry. So in the midst of our argument, I was like, I need to breathe. It's also a different dynamic now that we have Cairo, because one, we're trying not to argue or anything in front of him. 100%. So because we're in this apartment and he's in the other room, although he's not in the room with us while we're having this like debate, in my mind, I'm like, neither one of us are pressing pause. Like neither one of us have said and actually paused and not said anything else to like stop the argument. So I just needed to get out of the space for a second to like realize what we were doing. One, Cairo's in the other room. Is this really that serious? But we were literally arguing about moving and which state we wanted to move to. So it really was not like life changing at all in that sense. So I just needed a minute to just take a second to breathe, and being in the apartment at the time just wasn't.
I understand where both of you guys are coming from. I think it depends on like the reason why you're leaving, because there was one time when like I left the house to go to the car, but it was because I wanted to cry and I didn't want you to see me crying. So it's like, I think it's, but you know why.
But it's so many places, it's so many avenues and places inside of the home that you can do that. You could,
but if I'm mad,
you could have went to your office. You could have went to the bathroom like you normally do when you cry.
I know you do it in there.
Everyone knows.
Like you could have had did anything. I feel like if you're because again, the perception of that is you are choosing to leave the house.
But okay,
you don't have to.
Listen, but this is the
leave
difference,
the house.
right? I feel like if people lived in a house, going to sit on the porch wouldn't be an issue, because for you would be like, all right, but you're still at home. We ain't got no porch. We ain't got no backyard. We barely got a window we could peek our head through because of the people that could see us through the window. So for me, just going to take a step outside to walk around like the pathway, for me, that is our backyard, just to take a minute to take a lap around. We don't have those avenues. Me just sitting in my office with nothing but paperwork and a desktop looking at work stuff is just not, it wasn't for me.
Okay, so this is I'm going to break that down. I'm going to break down what you just said. The reason, okay, so this is amongst other things, right? And that's the disclaimer before I say what I'm about to say. Amongst other things, one of the reasons why that's not the same thing is because if you're on your porch, the chances of somebody walking up to you and saying, hey, what's wrong? And you having to explain to somebody that don't have none of the business, they don't need none of the business that's going on in our house, that's very seldom, and it's very small. Now now in the opposition to what the reality is, if you decide that you're gonna go outside and you're gonna walk around where we live, where there are a lot of people that could potentially see that you're upset and see that there's something going on, it's very likely that somebody that you're going to know, or somebody that knows you or knows me, is going to come up to you and ask you what's going on, and it's none of their business. Okay. And I feel like those two situations are completely different. Like you said, and you admitted to, me being on my porch is my house. It's very unlikely that somebody's gonna walk up onto my porch and be like, "Oh, hey, what's going on?" Nobody. It's not very, unless it's like family that was coming anyway. But you know what I mean? Like, it's not no people that shouldn't have anything to do with us that's gonna walk up on us.
I will say that I agree with Eric. I see where the both of you are coming from as well. I'm more of the mindset of Steph, where I would prefer that doesn't happen, but I have done that before when I was like really, really upset, and it was while Erica was pregnant in the midst of a heated argument. You feel what I'm saying? Like, it was actually a little scary. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, granted, like nothing scary happened, but like,
to be
but
honest.
but like for me, I was just like, we were just going back and forth, and it wasn't really getting anywhere. And then I'm like, let me just leave. And so I just took a drive, and then I came back, and then we finished the conversation. Right. But that doesn't happen often. But I do think that like just taking a step back and kind of like evaluating and seeking to understand before being understood is also what is best. Because and then also, honestly, what falling back on my relationship with God, like that's what really matters. Because a lot of times, like even earlier today, I said to Eric, I was like, yo, my bad for the way that I spoke to you earlier today. She was like, what are you talking about? It's like when I did this, and this. She goes, oh, okay. Like she didn't even noticed. So it's like really just allowing God to also check me as well and humble me and be like, yo, Sam, like you kind of messed up in these areas as well. So I think just as long as we keep the lines of communication open, even in the midst of a heated discussion, is very important, but recognizing when the other person or when we might need to take a step back so we could approach the conversation with cooler heads to actually reach a decision or a conclusion where we're both like, compromised and agreed on.
Yeah, I agree with that because you saying like seek to understand before like seeking to be understood, it makes me think that like if a person is not seeing eye to eye on something like this, for example, because I feel like we don't truly see eye to eye on a situation like this, is like you have to really understand why a person doesn't want you to leave the house or why a person would want to leave the house. And I think that if you truly understand like why it's so detrimental, for lack of a better word, to do that, then you'll kind of be a little bit more you'll be more hesitant in doing so. Yeah. So I'm not saying like there's a right or wrong answer. I just think it's about understanding your partner.
Absolutely. And I think too, because now I don't want y'all to listen to this episode and be like, oh my God, this is what marriage is. If you married, you know. But any relationship,
they going through this with their boyfriend right now.
Any relationship, they have moments where you get frustrated with each other. You might get a little angry. So I definitely think deciding for your relationship what the best coping mechanism is. So for some of you in your relationship, you might be okay with someone going to take a walk. And for someone's relationship, y'all might sit down and decide, yeah, it's a no for us. So just deciding what that looks like for yourself and your couple and just having those conversations. So when conflicts do arise, you'll know how to say, let's put a pause in this and come back to it. You'll know how to say, let's go take a walk together, and maybe that'll clear our heads, like whatever you decide to do. But marriage is beautiful, y'all. This is just
it really is.
It really is.
Right. I think it boils down to like how you process the conflict. Like, are you both doing it in a healthy way? Some healthy ways of not dealing with conflict is name calling, cursing each other out, taking jabs at each other's family, or or other friends. Like that's not healthy ways of dealing with conflict, or even doing it with the mindset of trying to teach the person a lesson or punish them. Those are not healthy ways of dealing with conflict, but really just talking about whatever the issue is, hearing each other out, and with the intentions of coming to a conclusion, not to prove yourself right or be the right one in the conversation. Because at the end of the day, both of you are coming with how the both of you are feeling, so therefore there is some merit in your feelings. But as far as the context or the perception of the argument might need to be tweaked. But I mean, there are healthy ways and unhealthy ways of dealing with conflict.
Absolutely.
Can I just say one more thing to answer the question about seeing eye to eye? So one that Sam and I didn't see eye to eye on at one point was like the idea of having friends. Just like me having a lot of friends. It was when I was in Spain, and we were having some conversation about like just Sam not feeling necessarily comfortable. You could let me know if I'm saying it wrong, but not necessarily feeling comfortable with me having like a lot of friends, and me not really understanding that, because I was at the point where I'm like, I feel like I need more friends. But it was once I realized, you mind if I say like the reason? Okay. Once he explained to me that like the reason why it's like scary for him to think that I have friends is because, not to think that I have friends, but like a lot of people around me, is because for his parents, like that was one of the factors that led to their divorce. And so once I realized like, okay, it's a fear thing, it's not just like you trying to control me, then it made it easier for me to be like, okay, like how can I reassure you that me having friends isn't going to lead to us getting a divorce?
That's a good one. That's really good.
Yeah. I think that's
a good place to put a pause on it.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us. Let us know if y'all want us to keep doing these conflicty, how we resolve things type of podcasts. I think it's therapeutic for us as well to like talk through these things. We love y'all so much.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching.
Wow.
Marriage is great.